Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our United Way Coffee Chat. Today, our topic is Days of Caring with our United Way Volunteer Center. And we have Kim Bergs on the line, who is going to actually walk us through Days of Caring and how you can get involved and what it does for our community. So the purpose of these meetings are they're just short meetings where we'll give you a brief overview of one of our United Way programs, share the results and the impact, and hopefully you will leave feeling great and inspired to do your own day of caring as we move forward if you haven't already been involved in one before. So with that, I would like to introduce Kim Bergs with our Volunteer Center. Kim, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you. So glad you could carve some time out to have coffee with us this morning. Let's see those coffee mugs. Yeah, all right. So Janine, you can go ahead and start the show. Our Day of Caring program has helped create connections with groups, businesses since 2008. That's when we launched our volunteer center here at United Way. So our Day of Caring simply helps connect groups and businesses to places where they can serve in our community. Some of you on the call this morning actually might see yourself in some of these pictures. Know that that was total coincidence. But next slide, please. So how does it work? How does our Day of Caring work? Well, I need you to identify a point person at your agency to work with me. And together we will identify your preferences. And then I'll get to work and find some suggestions for you and your team. We'll then move into the connection to the agency so you can swap some pertinent details like parking, dress code, any liability waivers. And then either myself or someone from the Volunteer Center will act as your liaison as well as the agencies as we step through the process. It's not just a release and go. So as you can see from this slide, participating in a Day of Caring simply helps you see and learn about what's going on in our community, specifically a United Way partner agency where the stakeholders have invested in our commitment to help our agencies do what they do best. Next slide, please. So we have projects that offer you different ways to make an impact in our community. This particular group of folks were from Chico's, and they helped on a Tuesday morning at Midwest Food Bank where it's loadout day. And on loadout day, 30 plus agencies who come get their food are able to pick it up through the help of the volunteers. Volunteers help them shop for their food, load up their vehicles, and then move on out. So a great opportunity to still do some indirect volunteer opportunities, but you're having a direct impact with you're interacting right with our agencies and other community partners. Next slide, please. So your group may have a specific goal in mind, something you want to do, maybe a cause. Some people call us and they already know what agency they want to help, but that you don't have to know that. Just tell us what your goals are. Maybe it's something from a corporate perspective. Maybe it's a team building. Maybe you have someone that works in your business group that has a particular cause that you want to rally behind. And then let us go to work and try to find those resources for you. We want to do the legwork on the front end so that you can keep doing what you do every day. It's much better than somebody surfing through the internet and making some cold calls. We're here to help and assist you with that. So you can see there's different types of projects. This particular group is helping in the soup kitchen at Community Cooperative one morning. They're actually cutting up the vegetables and getting the food ready to go out for our Meals on Wheels clients, and also the folks that come and grab a lunch every day at the kitchen, at the cafe, excuse me. They also prepare food, 6 days a week. So this is an ongoing need. You can also pick projects based on the degree of physical labor. There are some groups that want to be outside. They want to get dirty. They want to paint. They want to get all muddy and sweaty. And there are groups out there, believe it or not, that really want to do that kind of work. Then there are other groups that say, no, I want to stay inside. And so we try to cater to what your needs are. You may have some people with special requirements where we have to provide some sitting opportunities for them, and the agencies do a great job of making those accommodations. And also the time commitment. The average volunteer group is about 3 hours, giving the opportunity to learn about the agency on the front part, and then followed by, what am I going to do today? So, and then they wrap it up at the end, giving everybody a time to clean up, look back and reflect on actually what you did today. Many agencies are able to tell us, how much food did you really pack into boxes, and how many people did you actually help on that day? So let's go to the next slide. And talking about impact, let's take a look at what our volunteers are doing in our community. Now, I told you we started our Day of Caring model back in 2008, but let's just look at what happened last year with the folks in our community making that difference. So, over 2,000 volunteers within many of you on the call. We did 42 days of caring and 5,400 hours of impact. And so you can see that dollar amount, which I think is really a target to be hit. And we use the independent sector to get that dollar amount from. Then let's fast forward to April of this year, and you can see that, look where we are already. Even in the midst of COVID and everything that's going on around us, look at the impact we've made from April through August already this year. We're clearly going to make our goal and exceed our goal of connecting people with ways to serve in our community. So when you help our agencies, you actually help them stretch their budgets. There are so many of them that just otherwise would have to hire a painter to come in and do something for enhancements at your school. Some folks bring tools like rakes and shovels, garbage bags, bottled water, so that the agency, again, minimizes or mutually comes up with a way to help them stretch those dollars. So thank you for bringing those supplies that the agencies benefit from. Next slide, please. So what's the definition of a group? I looked that up because I was as curious as everyone else is, and a group is defined as two or more individuals interacting together to achieve a particular object. I never in all these years have looked up the definition of what a group is, but we can help you depending on the size of your group. Larger groups take a little bit more time, and we may have not as many opportunities to choose from, but we will find them for you. We've hosted, and our agencies have hosted 120 people plus at any given time. You can see then the smaller group sizes as Publix in that picture helped us at our Gibson Kind warehouse. They came in little teams this spring to help. And then at the bottom, a couple guys from Scotland. That photo was taken at our office where they totally did our parking lot makeover and did those lines for us. So whatever your definition of a group is, whatever size you have, we love the opportunity to help find something that fits your needs. Next slide, please. And it's September, so you know what's coming in a couple months. It's our holidays. And there's opportunities with our agencies to help do certain things around the holidays time that they otherwise, the demands are going up from the clients. The demands are going up by their volunteers, and volunteer groups can come in and help them. The group you see on the top left was a group from a Trinity Commercial Group, and they're actually coming back in October. They do a meal packing event where they assemble, this was a rice and bean casserole. They underwrote the cost of the supplies. They used it towards their United Way campaign. I had a great time doing this safely, as you can see, with COVID precautions. We also worked with Salvation Army. You will see a massive undertaking to fill boxes of food for the families. This can't be done without a ginormous amount of people. This one was safely done in 2019. That's why you don't see the masks. So we had brand new groups want to help a couple hours and pack all those food boxes for the families. You'll see on the lower left, our friends at Publix help annually with our Tools for Schools program. They actually have come in and help sort the items, drop the items off, and help our staff get them ready for distribution to the teachers in our community. We also have on the far right, a shred event that was held by Markham, Norton, Wright, and Misteller, where they invited the community to come shred their documents and for a donation to United Way, and often we'll have a partner agency there. Then they can choose, the community can choose how they want to have those documents shredded and pay it to us. So that's really an awesome, fun event. You may want to think about a food drive for a local pantry, a book drive, but all these we can help you plan rather than just say, hey, let's collect food. Let's do the Stephen Covey. Let's flip it, go backwards with it, and find out where the needs are, and then do our drives and our collections based on where the need truly is. And we want you to have some fun with it as well. So next slide, please. This is we all want to kind of let COVID go away, but without ado, we want to draw your attention to how groups of volunteers helped during the pandemic response and continue to help today. We're still battling COVID, and our community volunteers, especially small groups, have come to tackle some of these challenges. The enormous PPE packaging that we did at our office last fall, many of you picture that right now, all those, the bottles and masks and everything you helped prepare so we could get out to our agencies and other community partners. We did a giant food rescue with at the Civic Center and a couple other points. And we also had a very generous donor who wanted to host a special mobile food pantry for people right before Christmas, so they could come and literally pick up fruits and vegetables and food for their family, so they wouldn't have to worry about having a meal on the table for their family at Christmas time. So you'll see the little volunteers in the bottom, and they even wore their stocking caps. So what a fun day of caring that was. So next slide, please. All right, and we all remember when Irma came to town in 2017. Well, I want you to look at that photo with all the yellow shirts, because there's a 75 years young Navy veteran there by the name of Everett, and he was a 30-year Navy veteran. And when Irma came to town, we were able to help deploy groups out into our community safely to help with debris removal and just help a lot of our neighbors get back on their feet. We had folks from Wells Fargo in the lower right-hand corner clean up in a couple neighborhoods in Bonita. And in the bottom photo, we had some men from the Boston Red Sox who were in town, and they wanted to lend a hand. So we went out to the another neighborhood, and they helped a client that had been on a waiting list forever and ever. So I don't know if you can see the folks in the hard hats in the lower right-hand corner, but those were people who from the AmeriCorps, the Conservation Conservancy Corps specifically, and they came with chainsaws. So what a benefit they were, trained and on the ground to help us cut down some of these logs and make smaller pieces so that we could carry this stuff away. So I think Janine wants to queue up a video here so you can see and hear from some folks that participated in that disaster recovery.
I think what's great and what was so good with United Way and what we experience as a bank is that anytime we do want to help, it gets organized and it gets done. And so we're so fortunate. I mean, we have a lot of people who want to help, but the United Way is amazing because you just make it happen and you make it easy for the people who are volunteering. So really all we had to do was show up and do some work. And that makes it great too, because you feel like you're doing something, but it's side by side with the United Way. So it's a great team effort.
The United Way connects the pieces. we wouldn't have known where to start, how to figure out who actually needs help, who doesn't. And with the United Way was there to give us the direction. And so we were able to just put people together and show up and actually accomplish something.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing that, Janine. You can move forward to the next slide, and I have somebody on the call that we'd like to let her speak about a recent day of caring that her agency participated in. But more than that, actually several times a year, her agency benefits from some of the agencies. And we want to just illustrate here how a day of caring can help you get your team to come together. So Casey Stevens is on the call this morning from Stateless Care. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning, everyone. I am Casey from Stateless Care, and like Kim said, we just had a day of caring at our Evans campus with Scotland, and they painted our parking lot and did some landscaping for us. These day of caring are so important for us because we have about 400,000 square feet of office space, and that includes 6 campuses, and one campus even has 11 buildings on it. So with that, we only have 3 facilities men who work for us, and we just don't have the time or the manpower to get these things done, like painting parking lot lines and, doing some simple landscaping. We just don't have that time. So it's always a blessing to have these groups come and help us out with these activities, whether it's painting parking lot lines, painting inside, or doing some landscaping, anything like that, pressure washing. It really helps us. And when Monday came around and people showed back up at our Evans campus, they were so excited to see these fresh lines and how nice our campus looked because of this group. And we always try to give back to them as well by bringing some waters for them, some snacks, and just telling them exactly what we do and how they're helping us. And we would be in a lot of trouble without these day of caring. So we really appreciate these groups coming to us.
Well, thank you, Casey, for sharing that. And Janine, we can go back to the last slide, and I'll turn it back over to you in a second. But we know you have a choice. We know that we have resources on our website and on our Volunteer Center Facebook group page. We know that you can serve 24 hours a day, but we sincerely hope that you'll choose us to be your concierge and allow us to be the boots on the ground and do that legwork for you. We would really love the opportunity to engage with you on a year-round basis or special project. So I'm going to turn it back over to Janine. I think she's going to open it up for some questions.
All right. Thank you, Kim. That was a lot of information to take in. I think that, everyone can just realize that we can empower your group, which Kim stated is 2 or more people working together, to do great things in our community. And Kim, you had mentioned our agencies, and I just wanted to, I know that you meant our community-wide agencies, not just United Way partners. So can you explain that we work with everyone, right?
Absolutely. There's so many volunteer centers and so many places that steer volunteers just randomly, or, give them a catalog or a list, and they're randomly searching for something to do. So we like to think we know our partner agencies best, and our volunteer center team is constantly reaching out to them to find out what their needs are and how people can help. But then we have our community partners. We know that there are programs with other agencies, be it Ronald McDonald House or the Habitat for Humanity. There are groups that just really want to serve with specific agencies. We will make that happen. We actually don't just focus on the nonprofit sector because there are potentially some opportunities with Lee Health that people just want to get involved with. And so community is all about everyone, and how we just want to make that connection. We want to make it right. We want to make your team walk away going, wow, look what I did today.
That's awesome. And I know I have other volunteer center members on the call, so you guys can feel free to chime in as well. But, can we just go over again the benefits? Let's just say, I have a church group and I really want to go do something. And so I start calling agencies just because I want to go ahead and make that connection. What are the real benefits though of picking up the phone and calling United Way and going through you rather than us just trying to do it ourselves?
You want me to? Go ahead.
As someone who's participated and worked very closely with Kim, it really takes the legwork out of it. Like, I don't have to figure out if this agency is registered as a 501c3 or if they're fiscally responsible, if they're filing their taxes properly. Like, for representing Noel Branding, our Lee County tax collector, it's very important that we work with agencies that are organized, ethical, because we don't want to be a part of any media scandal out in the community. So working with Kim and United Way has really just taken out all the worry. Is very stress-free. Like when United Way sent our executive leadership somewhere, our team, we know like that agency is ethical and just represents what the community stands for and some of our values and things that we want to do. So that's one of the benefits that I found as the community relations. I don't have to call 6 different agencies because Kim is going to ask very specific questions like, what are your goals? Where you're trying to be? And then she'll come back with like a list of agencies that really fit what we're trying to do for our agency and the message that we're trying to build within the community. So thank you, Kim.
That was great. How much did you guys pay her to do that? I mean, come on, we couldn't have asked for anybody to explain that much better from the company aspect. Patrice, did you want to add anything?
No, I was just going to say, our team spends a lot of time building relationships with our partners and the organizations in the community so that we know what they need and what's available. And, Kim keeps up on that. So it just makes it an easier connection and saves that time. So I couldn't have said it any better either. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think sometimes as a nonprofit, we speak a different language and can communicate to each other on that level. And that helps us sometimes too with bridging that company, with the things that are needed and the resources that we need to make those kind of things happen. Does anybody have any questions for Kim? How to get involved? Any types of projects or anything like that? Go ahead, Kim.
I just want to thank Kim. She's been helping me over the years with our military support program through Lee Health. And we just had a day of caring with Bishop Verreau, the freshmen, and they were wonderful. They had no idea that we sent care boxes to our local men and women. I gave them the whole spiel, showed them the whole closet, and they got right to work. And they even they had but they probably had about a half hour left. And they asked where the notebook paper was, and they wrote letters. And some of them wanted to make sure that, the Marines got this letter. I mean, I said, if there's a particular branch, put it on the letter, we'll make sure that person gets it. So and some of them said that they're going to be going in the service. So I gave them my card and I said, give this to your parents and, keep in touch. So thank you very much, Kim. It's been wonderful.
That's awesome. And, a lot of times this is a great way to introduce our youth into really being involved. I know our volunteer center is going into schools and doing things with some of the students, but most of the students around now have to have a certain number of hours in order to graduate, the volunteer hours. And it's difficult, correct, for some of our youth to find those hours in places. Can you speak to that at all?
Absolutely. I tell kids all the time, it's not such a bad gig hanging out with your folks. When you're in middle school and you're required to do as few as 4 hours, don't look at it as a sentence. I worked in juvenile justice for 8 years. I had to take my boys to places and volunteer because a judge told them in order to leave the program that they had to do that. And when you approach it that way, it's not such a feel-good opportunity, but when you approach it as how they are giving back to the community at their young age and they're able to use their time and talents, and it makes a whole lot more sense. when the letter carrier drive was up and running, you remember how we put food in our mailboxes for those of us that have them. Janine stepped forward and said, give me a route. She says, my son Ian is going to spend Mother's Day weekend with me. And they went out for 6-7 hours and picked up food. And that was Ian's tribute to his mom and spending time with his mom, still as a high school student, doing something good for the community. What a great Mother's Day gift that was. There still resonates on that today, but we have to encourage people to start doing this at a young age, and they have so much to offer in there, and they don't realize it. They look at it as I gotta do this, and we need to approach it as wow, look what you did. And we can help. We want to talk to the kids. We don't want to talk to your parents. We want you to go to your parents and ask them, hey, could you drop me off? Could you stay with me? Could we do this? Could we do that? It's all about just connecting families and hope. And by the way, we have that service learning fair coming up on October 23rd, where you can come and visit, Mary, 20 some agencies. You can walk around and learn from the agencies right on the spot. What do they do? You can do a little project right there at their table. And we're encouraging, especially young people, middle school, high school kids to come. And I'm encouraging you to come as a business group representative or a other group representative. You can see firsthand what's out there. Get in touch with me. We'll make that connection and find out what opportunities they have for your groups.
And because it is so hard for some of our youth to find these volunteer opportunities, this is a great way. If you've got a group of students, your child's friends, and they all need these hours, you can reach out and create a day of caring for these students. That'll be meaningful. That'll really just make them, get that warm, fuzzy feeling from volunteering. And it'll be created for them in a time frame that they can do as well. And we, of course, would need parents involved in everything as well, especially depending on the age of the kids. But you would be amazed when they get together with their peers. And I know our board member, Mary Snell, is on here, and, her daughter, for her birthday party, would come to a food packing, every year. I mean, that was just something that her friends totally enjoyed it. They made a song out of it. They made a game out of it. There was a competition. They were trying to pack the most food out of anybody. These kind of things are great ways to get students involved, but also to get your peers involved in your companies, your coworkers, because it brings you together. It gives you that great feeling that you're impacting the greater good. Does anybody have any other questions before we sign off this morning?
I just have a comment. I think part of why I like working with the Volunteer Center and the Day of Giving is that sometimes we have really great ideas of how we can help organizations and agencies, and it's our ideas, it's not what they really need. So working through Kim and working through just the staff and Jenny Lynn at the organization, we can really make an impact and really help organizations where they need it the most and not just where we think they need it.
That is an excellent point, because sometimes we all have very good intentions, but we're not in their shoes and we may not know exactly what they need. I'm going to have you come on all these calls with me. Geez, this is incredible. I mean, we need to put her on the Volunteer Center staff, I think, right?
I know, right?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your time this morning. We will have this up on our YouTube channel for our coffee chats. You can find that link on our website. So if you want to maybe encourage somebody within your company to do a day of caring, they can find out a little more here. Please reach out to us. You can find all the information on our website, which is unitedwaylee.org. And we hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you.